guys, if you are nervous about a recession in 2023, I think you should be. We have been preparing and planning and strategizing and implementing in my company for the last year. I'm still a little bit nervous. As they say, if you weren't afraid, you probably should have been. If you were, you probably didn't have to be. They also say in times of recession, the poor get poorer and the rich get richer. So I'm going to do my best to put the steering wheel in your hands. I'm going to tell you everything that we've done. I'm going to give you 5 strategies that we have spent time on and started to implement and are continuing to implement that are intended to not only cause us to survive a recession, but to thrive. As we all know, when things get hard, the weak die along the way, the strong get stronger, and I anticipate that a lot of competition is going to go away. A lot of artificially inflated markets that have been propped up by VC money and cheap loan money are going to come back down. So although I am a little bit nervous, as I said, I am looking forward to an opportunity to break away from the pack. So here are 5 things that we developed over the last year and are implementing and will continue to implement that will put us in a position of advantage when things get tough. Number 1, strategically push costs off onto your customers and clients. Keyword strategically. Now, I'm not saying make things painful for your client. I'm not saying to take away value necessarily, but there are some low-hanging fruit. If you really take a meaningful look at your products and services, you can identify things that are really difficult for you, but wouldn't cause your client a second thought. Here's an example that we did in my company. For a particular service-based product, we had an onboarding fee. What I noticed over time is the onboarding process required us to take a product catalog from a client, format it, clean up the photos, verify some things, do some homework, and it was causing a cash flow issue. We couldn't close things out. It was expensive. There was a lot of back and forth. We couldn't get what we needed from the client. So what we did, and this might seem obvious, it might seem pretty intuitive, but it wasn't really being done, is we developed a catalog format. We sent it out to the client and said, hey, as part of the onboarding process, you complete this catalog and give it to us. We know we have a really good product, so giving the brand owner who knows their products, they know their SKUs, they know their photo and video assets. So to put this on them was a very small price to pay for the service we were giving them, and it cleared up days of work for us. All right, push the right costs off to your customer, and you will greatly reduce both your costs and shorten your cash flow cycle at times. Number 2, automate. If this still sounds space age to you, grandma, I don't know, suck it up. All right, we're well into the 21st century. Schools are pumping out developers that go to work at Starbucks because they can't find the right job. I used to teach at Villanova, and we would have computer science graduates who could get out and they could code in a basic sense. They could write code, and they go to work at Starbucks or somewhere else because they couldn't find work. Developers are very cheap. Get on one of those, I think it's called nextdoor.com, Indeed, and get some service-based ads written up. And even if you don't know what to automate, I'm going to give you some ideas in a minute. You sit down next to a developer and show him or her what you do on a daily basis. They will come up with things where they can write a script in minutes, host it on your computer, and you would have never dreamed you could automate something that easily. If you're still too cheap to pay $22 an hour for a developer who really wants work here in the US, get on Naukri.com and hire somebody from India. You can get somebody with a lot of experience to write programs for you. Zoom, get on a Zoom call, screen share, show them what you do, and they can automate it. If you're still intimidated by that, and you shouldn't be, but if you are, there are tons of programs out there with ready to go off the shelf automations. Some of them free, like Zapier. You should subscribe to the newsletter from Zapier, even if we have a development team, and I like just the ideas that they give us in the newsletter from Zapier. Or Jasper.ai. There are tons of them out there. Just Google free AI software services. Automate. One quick note on automation for people that think automation is putting people out of work and blah, blah, blah. Automation frees up people to do things that are more important. It frees up people from repetitive tasks to do things that drive revenue. So automation doesn't have to put people out of work. It can just make certain things cheaper and can re-leverage either your time or the time of your people on staff. So automate. Number 3, this one is huge. It doesn't seem like much, but it is massive, and I learned this the hard way. Number 3, start keeping customer and client credit cards on file. This works for product-based companies. This works for service-based companies. Keep credit cards on file. Do it the right way. Do your homework. Use a protected form to collect data. Make sure that you're not putting anybody at risk. The last thing you want to do is have somebody's credit card information compromised. But keeping credit cards on file is powerful. Here's why. When things get tough, whether it's in a recession or a bull market, it doesn't really matter. When things get tough, you don't want to be 80% down the road to broke with a client. All right? You don't want to be sending them out an invoice and waiting to get paid, and they're short on cash and they're going to put you last, and before you know it, they're broke, right? That compounds, and we've had clients where we were 3-4 months behind on payments. So keep a credit card on file and charge the card when the invoice is due. The other thing that this does for you is clients will think about canceling their service when they're getting ready to write a check, when they're seeing the invoice come through. It's always in the back of your mind as soon as a bill becomes $300, $400, $500, and our clients pay a lot more than that by a large factor. As soon as there are several $100s, a few $1,000s a month, a client's going to question that. It's natural human behavior, and we have agreements, and they'll still question it at times, and they'll come back, and you can tell invoices will go out and they'll start asking questions. Hey, how did we do here? How did that go? I totally understand it. It is, again, it's human behavior, but bang the card once a month when it's due, send out the receipt, and believe it or not, you will keep your clients longer. You will keep your clients longer when you hit the card and send them an invoice. So keep credit cards on file. If they don't want to do it, offer them a small discount. Yes, you're going to pay a 2.9% fee or 2.4% fee, some kind of processing fee, depending on who you use, what credit card they use, etc. But it will be well worth it in the end when you keep that client. Instead of keeping them for 5 months or 6 months, you keep them for a year or 2 years. All right, keep a credit card on file. If they don't want to do it, offer them a 3% discount, or offer them an annual discount, or offer them every 3rd month for free. This one's super powerful too. Tons of bonuses in here. If you build in a free month every 3 or 4 months, you will convince your customers to keep getting to that place of value. Every 4th month is free. Man, I just got to stick it out, and that 4th month is free. That's powerful. Use that as a bonus to keep your customers from, or to convince your customers to keep a card on file. So number 3, start keeping credit cards on file. Number 4, develop downsells. All right, develop downsells. Again, this one does a couple of things for you. We've learned this from trial and error. If you don't love your downsell, that's okay. It can do a couple of different things for you. Number 1, it can help you to close a sale or get somebody back on the phone who you can tell is drifting off and you're not going to close them. So let's say you have a $2,500 product and you've conditioned the customer, it's $2,500, that's the price that's in their mind. And then, they start to trail off. You don't think you're going to get it. And then boom, you have one that's $1,200. You have an offering that's $1,200 and you just, they just have to do a little bit more. Or they get a little bit less or something like that. So it can help you to close sales. The other thing it can do is it can help you to retain a client. So a client says, hey, I don't have any money. I need out of here, or, whatever. Say, look, I can actually, I get it. You need out. I want you to succeed. I have this thing that's cheaper. It's half as much. It's a third as much. And I can still get you all the things you really need. Right? So you don't have to start with the downsell, but it can help you to close a sale. It can help you to retain a customer that's on their way out the door. Develop downsells. If you want an example, an example might be a done with you program, right? So let's say you have a product that is done for you. You do all the work. You hand them a product on a silver platter. Well, maybe you have done with you where you do it back and forth. There's a couple of benefits to that. Is there might be more interaction with the client. You might be able to form a better relationship with them, but it is cheaper for them. And if you want to know, all right, if I'm developing a downsell, what are the pieces that I give back to the client? Two rules of thumb to help you develop the portion of your service that you can push back on your client for a discount. 1, things you're a little less confident of. If you don't feel like you're really great with a certain piece, or at least the piece of your service offering that you're less great with, give that back to the customer. The other thing you can consider is the things that are more costly for you. They take you more time, more of your time, more of your bandwidth. They create some kind of a pause, or they're more expensive in terms of the labor, the people on your team. So develop downsells. Number 5, conduct a credit card statement review. I know this one isn't exactly a wild idea, but it is really powerful. If you haven't done this, you need to. You should be doing this on your personal credit card. So here's the way it works. If you haven't done one before, print out a credit card statement and you're looking for recurring charges. You're looking for charges that hit your card every single month. Here's how you get through that. You find all those charges, put them on a spreadsheet, pull them off of your statement. If you have a team, get the right person. I knew exactly who to go to on my team to do this. Have them do it. Have them brief you. Have them give you decision points. But you're looking to do 3 things. 3 things. Cut, sub, negotiate. Cut, sub, negotiate. Identify things that you either aren't using anymore or you can just plain do without. Cut them. Substitute. Look for things your services you're not super happy with, or you think you can replace at a lower cost, and substitute them. Everything else, literally everything else, because every service on your card fits into this somewhere, negotiate. Okay, and there's a couple of ways to do this. One, you can contact a vendor directly and negotiate a reduction. You can even tell them, I'm having a little bit of a hard time. You can ask them for different options. And the other way to do is just find a different plan. So if you have a smaller team, we've got, I think 26 people on staff, but if you, let's say you have 4 or 5, try a family plan, right? Go from an enterprise plan or a business plan to a family plan and see if you can downsize your costs that way. We did this recently and we saved $3,200 a month. $3,200 a month. Now we have it's an 8-figure company, so our service fees are a considerable expense every month, but that still was a pretty big cost savings. That's not just 1 month, that compounds across the year. And so what I did is I offered a bonus based on that amount back to the person that actually identified and negotiated those cost savings. So again, 5 strategies that we developed and are implementing. Number 1, strategically push costs back to customers. Number 2, automate, do it. Number 3, start keeping credit cards on file. Number 4, develop at least 1 downsell per service offering. Number 5, conduct a credit card statement review. As always, don't panic. One quick bonus I always like to throw out there: don't panic and start cutting your engines. Double down on the things that work and drive sales. So follow those 5 steps, but don't cut the things that are keeping the ship afloat. All right, guys, if you found any value in this at all, I would really be grateful for a thumbs up, subscribe, and leave me a comment. If you have another one, I'd love to hear it. I'd love to learn too. I am on this journey just like you. If you have something else that you're doing for to prepare for a coming recession, please let all of us know. Otherwise, I will see you on the next one.